Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Today I just want to go into this article. And it's from NBC News, and it says Federal Reserve launches FedNow instant payment service that could bypass Venmo and PayPal. And as we know, this is pretty much the Federal Reserve's, digital transfer, service, pretty much like PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, with just their version of it. So I'm just going to read this article, and bring out a couple scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And this was just a couple of days ago, where this article came out yesterday. And it says the U.S. Federal Reserve has launched a long-awaited service which will aim to modernize the country's payment system by eventually allowing everyday Americans to send and receive funds in seconds, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the central bank announced on Thursday. The FedNow service, which has been in work since 2019, will seek to eliminate the several day lag it commonly takes to transfer will seek to eliminate the several day lag it commonly takes cash transfers to settle, bringing the U.S. in line with countries including the United Kingdom, India, Brazil, as well as the European Union, where similar services have existed for years. FedNow launching with 41 banks and 15 service providers certified to use the service, including community banks and large lenders like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of New York, Mellon, and U.S. Bancorp. But the Fed plans to onboard more banks and credit unions this year. The Fed said on Thursday in a statement that 35 banks and credit unions were currently utilizing the service, as well as the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service. The service will compete with private sector real-time payment systems, including the Clearing House's RTP network, and was initially opposed by big banks who said it was redundant. But many have since agreed to participate on the basis FedNow will allow them to expand the services they can offer clients. For us, FedNow really is a wonderful way of expanding reach, said Anu Samani, head of global payables and embedded payments at U.S. Bank. Unlike peer-to-peer payment services like Venmo or PayPal, which act as intermediaries between banks, payments made via FedNow will settle directly in central bank accounts. The Fed also operates as a real-time payment system called FedWire, but that's reserved for large-scale, mostly corporate payments and is only operational during business hours. While the new FedNow system is for everyone, it is likely to benefit consumers and small businesses the most, analysts have said. We want our clients to benefit from these capabilities, and we want that to be a competitive edge for us, said Carl Slabicki, global co-head of payments for BNY Mellon's, or Bank of New York's Mellon's Treasury Services, Smaller banks which offer Slovakia, smaller banks which often connect to Fed wire via large lenders encourage the Fed to develop FedNow, arguing that it would allow them to access real-time payments without having to pay larger competitors for the service. Having the Fed in the space makes our members feel more comfortable that their needs will be met, that they will be treated fairly for pricing, said Lance Nagel, Senior Vice President of Operations and Senior Regulatory Counsel at the Independent Community Bankers of America, a trade group. FedNow will not charge consumers, although it's unclear whether or how participating banks will pass on any costs associated with the service. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen, who had urged the Fed to develop a real-time payment system, said in a statement, "The launch of FedNow is good news for American consumers and our economy. The launch of FedNow will help connect Americans with their money when they need it immediately in real time and will save consumers billions of dollars." Slovakia. And will save consumers billions of dollars annually, he said. Some market participants have raised concerns that FedNow could supercharge a potential bank run by facilitating fast outflows from financial institutions, a fear that was amplified after the failure of Silicon Valley Bank earlier this year. But the Fed officials have downplayed those concerns, arguing that the banks have tools available to mitigate a wave of outflows. At the outset, FedNow will have a maximum payment limit of $500,000, but banks can choose to lower that cap if needed. So, yes, as you can see, pretty much as of 2 days ago, you know, they rolled out, FedNow, which is their digital service, their digital payment service, which is eventually, going to lead to, that device being implanted, in people's hands because, this is them, or this is Esau Edom pretty much gradually getting the people ready, for contactless payments because pretty much, that's what people do nowadays. I speak for myself, if I don't have any cash on me, I pretty much use my phone to pay everything, to pay for things, I hate it, but at the same time is, what I have to do. But at the same time, it's just getting ready people. It's like it's getting people ready, for the implementation of the mark of the beast. So I'm going to start in the book of Isaiah chapter 36 and verse 6, and it says, "Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him." Yes, pretty much, and I heard a brother explaining this, the other day, a reed, pretty much be, you know, or, that staff pretty much, it would have like, a round handle or something, like a cane, for instance, it has a handle, but if it's broken, it's pretty much going to pierce the hand of the person that's holding it. But pretty much that's what is going to happen to the people that trust in Egypt, aka America, modern day Egypt, the people that trust in Esau, Edom, and the system. They're ultimately going to receive, that hip, that grain of rice. So I'm going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 13. And I'm going to start at verse 15. And it says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed." So, you're going to have a remnant, of the nation of Israel, certain members of the elect, that aren't gonna bow down to Esau, Edom's new or daughter, that aren't gonna receive his device. Well, ultimately, all of the elect, they're gonna deny this man's device, but certain members are gonna be beheaded, for the testimony of our Lord, because you have certain members of the elect that are gonna be martyrs. But ultimately, this is what they want to do. For those that don't get the micro C-hip, they want to put people to death, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a choice, just like the the juice, to get that jab, it was a choice. They gave people options, either you get the thing, or you lose your job, or or certain things, but ultimately he's going to make it hard to live in this society if you don't have that device, you know. So it's Revelation chapter 13 to 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And yes, that's pretty much how people are going to be able to make transactions, in the time to come. So the mark of the beast is not sin, is not sleeping with white women, is not anything other than, the RFID micro C-hip. That's what it is. That's what's going to be implanted in people's hands and foreheads. Now, brother, he had a video, you know, on TikTok where a man pretty much broke it down, because he was one of the developers of the device, and he pretty much explained it. And he was a Edomite. But you have, those amongst our people, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, that can't get it. Verse 18, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 And yes, that device. But people also don't understand, once they get this device, it's going to do something to them. It's pretty much going to, it's pretty much, their bodies are going to react, are going to reject it ultimately, is what I'm trying to say. So it's going to leave them a sore. So this is the book of Revelation chapter 16 and verse 2. And the verse went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Yes, for those that receive the mark of the beast, wherever they get it, in their hand, their forehead, anywhere on their body, ultimately it's going to leave a grievous sore, and ultimately, that sore is going to be cancer. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving any medical advice, just strictly for the YouTube, but ultimately that's what it's going to do, because you aren't supposed to, first and foremost, again, you aren't supposed to make any markings or cuttings in your flesh, going back to the book of Leviticus, but you're also not supposed to, implant any type of technology into your body, because ultimately it's going to reject it. Now that device is going to be emitting, radiation as well. And, obviously radiation is not good for the body, So I'm going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 20. I'm going to start at verse 1. And it says, And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. It's talking about our Lord Yahweh Shai. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is called the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, talking about Esau, Edom. Because, after the Roman Empire went down, pretty much, the Israelites, we ruled for 1,000 years. Then ultimately, Esau, Edom came back in power, during the Renaissance era, Verse 3, and he cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set him upon, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. After that, he must be loose for a little season. And yes, we're in that little season. We're pretty much from, the, I want to say 1300s up until now, he's deceived the whole world, with his lies. Verse 4, and I saw thrones, and that's the point I wanted to make in this chapter. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushai, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the image of the beast, like it which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. And yes, this is talking about the elect, because again, the elect, they're going to deny this man's mark, but the ones that are beheaded, for the testimony of our Lord, they're going to be risen up first, because it says, the dead and Hamashiach shall rise first. So, you have certain members of the elect that are going to be beheaded. But again, they're going to be risen back up. But ultimately, that's just part of, the story, and that's part of Esau Edom's plan, to kill those that don't want to receive his mark. So pretty much that's it. We're getting closer and closer to, this major prophecy being fulfilled of Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, so pretty much, the Fed now is here, we're just waiting for the device to be implemented and made mandatory, So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.